there. So let's talk about one of the best investment vehicles that exists that no one is talking about. Did you guess it? Probably not, because I'm talking about getting married. From higher earnings, shared finances, combining assets, and tax implications, getting married is likely to be one of the biggest financial decisions you'll ever make. According to Melissa Kearney, author of The Two Parent Privilege: How Americans Stopped Getting Married and Started Falling Behind, marriage is fundamentally an economic contract between two people. And while it may sound unromantic, it really is about two people making a long term commitment to pool resources and consume and produce things together. So I'm sure by this point you're thinking, but hey, marriage should solely be about love. And of course, you should always marry the right person for the right reason. Not suggesting that you shouldn't, but the origins of marriage might not be exactly what you think. From its inception, the goal of marriage has always been about securing family alliances and economic resources, and was far less romantic than the way in which we think about it today. For most of recorded history, love was not even a consideration in marital contracts. In fact, marriage dowries, a practice where the bride's family provided the groom's family with money or goods, were a common ancient practice across many cultures and highlighted some of the financial benefits for these marital arrangements. The concept of love as a factor in marriage didn't really rise in popularity until the 19th century, when both men and women started to enter the labor force at larger numbers. The 1947 launch of the De Beers campaign, A Diamond is Forever, was regarded as one of the most successful advertisements of the 20th century and had a large cultural impact on how we view romance and the engagement process still today. Okay, so back to the topic at hand, and let's start with the positive: how marriage can propel you financially. So there are a few ways, actually. Okay, so first, one of the most immediate things that comes to mind for most people is the shared fixed expenses. Being able to cut one of the most expensive living costs in half is obviously a huge benefit. And this one is true. So according to a 2021 study, married adults spend approximately 10K less per adult per year, which is obviously a large amount of money that you can drop directly to the bottom line. But beyond this clear benefit, the bigger news here is that married individuals tend to actually earn more, significantly more, than their non married peers. Now, if you break this one down a little further, it's actually more pronounced for married men, who can earn up to a third more than their non married peers. The data is actually less clear cut for women, which may be because in many households, women are still shouldering the bulk of the household task, allowing men to propel in their careers. But that's a different debate for another day. What's clear here is that being married leads to higher combined earning power. And then there are a number of benefits in the access category. So this includes things like tax credits and deductions, better terms on credit loans, discounts on auto, home, and life insurance, and a number of benefits that you receive due to a better combined financial position and better combined earnings. And these benefits don't only apply to the married individuals. Research indicates that children raised in two parent households often have better financial outcomes later in life as well, often experiencing higher incomes, greater likelihood of achieving middle class status, and reduced risk of poverty when compared to single parent homes. In fact, in a national longitudinal study performed by the Institute for Family Studies, it was found that being raised in a two parent household boosted the odds of graduating from college by 163%. So the key to creating generational wealth might just be in the partner you choose. So when you take all of this together, marriage has the ability to increase an individual's net worth by times 3. Let me say that again. On average, married individuals have a net worth that is 3 times higher than their non-married peers. That's huge. But hey, let's not jump the marriage gun too fast. The key here is marrying the right person, as there's another side to this story when you don't.
So, I get the fun task of talking about all the ways making this decision on picking the right partner can go wrong. Now, we aren't skeptics on love. I mean, Natasha even married her high school sweetheart. But when finding your person or people, no judgment, doesn't happen for you, or worse, when it goes wrong, love can range from mild discomfort to complete torture. Consider this a scared straight session to help you double down on picking the right person. So let's start with the never married. While there is a potential cost of loneliness here, along with related potential mental and physical health issues, there is also a dollar cost. The average single person spends about $48,000 annually, of which $18,000 is spent on housing, while the average married couple spends about $76,000 annually, of which about $25,000 is spent on housing. So that's about $12,405 each. So married people living together are spending nearly $5,500 less on housing expenses each year versus single people. Okay, now let's move to those who get married and then divorce. Let's talk about the mental health side first. Marrying the wrong person can have a significant negative impact on your life, leading to feelings of unhappiness, constant conflict, isolation, stress, regret, a sense of being unfulfilled. It's very difficult to have merged your life with someone who brings feelings of unhappiness, so sometimes divorce is the option that people choose. But there's also an immediate financial side. When getting a divorce, the initial cost can actually be quite high. According to most legal sources, the average cost of a divorce in the United States is around $11,300, with the median cost being closer to $7,000. However, this can vary significantly depending on the complexity of the case, if there are disputes over child custody or property, the specific legal fees, and your location. But that's not all. Divorce is mentally and emotionally taxing, so therapy might be in order. In that case, post-divorce therapy, which is also known as divorce counseling, can cost between like $100 up to like $300 per session. The cost can vary depending on the provider and insurance, and in most cases, health insurance doesn't even cover the cost of divorce counseling. And while we hope things never get to this extreme, protection orders are one more cost to be conscious of. They're incredibly necessary if you have safety concerns, but they also cost something. While there's not usually a fee assessed to victims of stalking, domestic violence, or abuse, there may be a fee assessed in cases of neighborhood disturbances or workplace harassment. For example, depending on the state, a typical filing fee can be anywhere from $100 to $400, but well worth it if you need to be protected. All this to say that love can hurt, but it can also really hurt financially if you pick the wrong partner. Clearly, there's a huge upside to getting it right, and we love love. So we just caution that you take the time to really feel good about your decision. It is likely the biggest financial decision you will ever make, and limiting the downside risk here will make it more likely that you will experience all the gain from finding that special someone.